I am really surprised at how good this thing is. So this is the new Onewind ultralight shelter. Now I've had quite a few products from Onewind in the past, majority of which I have bought myself. I've got a full hammock setup, and I must admit I've been incredibly impressed with the quality and the little designs and ideas that they come up within their systems. Onewind contacted me and said, do I want to test this? And apologies to Onewind because they sent it to me a long time ago. It was last year, and the weather just hasn't been right for testing it out properly. So apologies first off. And when they contacted me and asked me about trying this out, I looked at this and thought, this isn't really the sort of thing for me. When I checked the specs in it, there was nothing on the website. They sent me a PDF sheet with the information on it, and I thought it's just not right. But we had a few conversations. They said, look, give it a go, see what you think. And I must admit, after trying it out, I have been pleasantly surprised. Now, sometimes with a new piece of equipment, you have over expectations as to how it's going to be, what it's going to be like, how it's going to perform, and you get let down. Other times it turns up and it's like, yeah, does what it does. Because I was underestimating this, I think that made a point of making it a little bit more of a surprise. So yeah, once I actually had a proper look at this, it's pretty impressive. So first I want to say this is not a tent, okay, this is a shelter, and I will use the word shelter throughout this video. It is designed for specific use in a specific time. You're not going to take a ultralight 3-season tent on the top of a mountain in the middle of winter. So likewise, this is not the sort of shelter that you're going to use on a regular basis or in bad weather. However, it is something that you could just stash in your bag and keep in there all the time, even on day trips, day hikes, where you're not intending to spend overnight somewhere. And this could come in really useful. Now, Onewind say that this weighs 300 grams. I have weighed it on my scales and it weighs 265 grams. Admittedly, that is without the pegs because I don't include the weight on those in any shelter, simply because I use my own pegs and I don't use the ones that come with them. So 265 grams for a full shelter is not bad, but it's not just a shelter. So this thing is also a full cape, a hooded cape and an adjustable zipped hooded cape. And that was what sort of took me by surprise with it. And I've tried it and it works incredibly well. Now, this isn't the first design out there of a shelter that turns into a cape or vice versa, but I think the way this one is set up and the designs and the thought that's gone into it is really good. So here it is in Poncho mode. Now, bearing in mind, I am 6'4", so this covers way below my knees. You know, this is almost down to my feet, so it is a decent size, whereas a lot of ponchos, they do come up a bit short. This hasn't got armholes in it, but what is nice is it does have a zip that you can open from the inside or the outside, and it also has adjusters on it. So from the inside here, I can tighten around my shoulders to make it more cape-like. I can also tighten the outside section as well. So here, I can tighten this right up to keep me out of the rain and the wind and be fully enclosed. Damn, it's hot in here. These also have quick release toggles on them, so you press that button and they come apart, so you don't have to tighten them up and loosen them every time you want to. It's hot in there. And there's also more than enough space to get a backpack underneath this as well, so you could take this out of your pack, chuck it over the whole thing, you and your backpack, keep yourself totally dry. Now admittedly it's quite flappy, so you could get a bungee cord, tie it around your waist just to keep it in, but you've got to have restriction of your arms then. The other option is possibly to just clip two of the sides together and have your arms coming out and then wrap it around you, or you even use your backpack on it and wrap it around the poncho itself, so your backpack is keeping it shape. But this is a really good coverage poncho. And if you do get caught out in the rain, you can simply sit on the floor cross-legged and you've got complete coverage, and you can even put your pack underneath here as well, keep it dry. So how does it work as a shelter? Let's get it up and I'll show you. So you lay this out with the zip or poncho section to the front. One way around already. Peg out the two rear corners. Now in the pack you do get a guy line, so that goes from the top where the pole section is, guide out to hold the front out. So I've just got one guy line, one peg. Obviously this doesn't come connected because with the Poncho it wouldn't really work that well. So you just attach it to the top of the peak, and then when you put the pole in, you hold it out, guide it out, and then go out the other corners. Okay, I'll set the pole to about 120 centimetres. You can change that depending upon your preference and how high you want it. And then you go out the last two corners. This ground is solid. There you have it. Now there is guy point in the middle on each one as well, so you can do this in different configurations, or you can just use it to hunker it down a bit more. Now this is where I think it's going to come in a bit difficult for me. So anyone who watches my channel or knows me knows that I am 6'4" or 192 centimeters. So this is limited for space with me. Head height is okay. I can sit up. It gives me plenty of shelter. I can lay down behind here, and there is a vestibule area in front, so there is enough space with coverage still. So realistically, if you are in a little bit of bad weather, there might be some rain and you want a temporary shelter, you'd have this pitched with the back towards the wind, so any wind or rain is going to be coming across you, not into your shelter. So for a bivvy camp, 265 grams, this is ideal. Let's test the length. I'm not holding out any high hopes. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna stretch out in here. I can't get it any wider, even if I lower this down. It's only going to open the front up, it won't open the rear because of where the pegs are at the rear situated, so they're fully taut across the back, as you can see. But for a temporary shelter, if you want to just stop somewhere, get out of the rain, you can pitch this up very quickly, and you can sit in here and get full coverage. You could even make yourself a cup of tea and have a bit of space and shelter out of the bad weather. So this is me laying out fully. My feet are pushing quite hard against the side, my head is just touching the top. So I think if you were sub 6 foot and you had a bivvy bag, this would work absolutely fine. Now I know someone's going to say, summer months in the UK, anytime you're going to get any roughly decent weather to be able to use a tarp like this. Obviously it has no mesh, so there is no bug protection, but you could use a bivvy bag with a mesh cover. Or if you're somewhere where you don't get affected by the midges and those sorts of things, then it's not going to be a major issue. Tarps are used across the UK all the time without any kind of mesh, but they also offer a mesh inner. So this is 100% polyester inner, so it is quite heavy. It's 465 grams. You could probably find a lighter one that would fit, because they're all pretty much the same size, if you know what I mean. I forgot to mention earlier on, this is it's a fully tape seamed, waterproof, 1.1 ounce seal nylon ripstop material. So it's ultralight, it's strong, and it's waterproof, so you're going to be fine. But I will try it with this mesh inner and see how that works. I won't film it because it may be a faff. I thought the inner would attach to the two corner pegs, but it's not wide enough obviously, because there's a bit of a vestibule in the middle here along that section. So I thought it was attached to that one halfway through, but it's not. You will need 2 extra pegs for the inner if you want to use that. So this is it with a full mesh inner. So if you want to keep the bugs away, there is that option. Now it's close to the outer, so it's going to be about the same length realistically once you're inside it. But it zips all the way around, so you can have it fully open with this side, zip back, or all the way across, and then you've got a centre zip that comes down here, so there's toggles that hold it both sides. So you can have it fully open, a bit like a T-zip, same as a T-zip inner, but it's just slightly longer. It goes around the corner. So similar to my Lanshan. But yeah, you've now got a mozzie-proof inner for it. There is also a little pocket at the head end here. There is a lantern hook, and again this brings me back to my last test review on that rather expensive tent that just has a loop rather than a hook. Cheap Chinese ones, they've got a hook, it just works better. So you've got one pocket at one end and that's it, but it's a simple, straightforward mesh inner should you want to be able to be kept out of the bugs. Don't know if you can hear that, not the carts going past. Well, I think there's a Bigfoot calling me, singing to me in the background. Normally this woods is packed with people, dog walkers or the Marines doing their training, but they've actually closed the car park, so you can't park in there because they're resurfacing it all. And it's quite good because that means no one can get here. So I've parked up just outside on the edge. I'll probably get a clamp when I get out there. But yeah, it means there's no one walking around, which makes a nice change. So I normally get dog walkers coming up to me and people going, "Oh, what are you up to?" But yeah, there's definitely some weird noises going on. There's no one around. Absolutely no one. I've never heard a sound like that. Not in these woods. I feel safe though, I think they're friendly. So if you want to get yourself an emergency shelter, an everyday carry shelter, something you can just chuck in your bag that weighs 265 grams, or maybe if you're thinking of going bivvy camping and you want to be able to have something that's very lightweight, small, packable, decent, but also you can chuck it on top and wear it over all your gear in the event of a downpour and keep everything dry, then yeah, take a look at the Onewind shelter. I'll put links in the description below, as always. If you do want to buy it, click on the link, it will take you to the website. It does help the channel a little bit. As I say, this was sent out to me, so it's good for them to know where the referral came from. And as always, if you did like the video, hit a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you on the next one.